welcome to this first exercise session. So let's just begin without much introduction and talking. If you want to know more about myself, you can describe below to my channel on YouTube and you will find out a little more. So let's just get started with this session, right? So this is going to be a CapoFitness session, and we're going to start with some breathing and some inner core activation exercises, which are designed especially for postpartum women. And you are postpartum if you had a baby ever. Like, it doesn't matter whether it was yesterday, 6 weeks ago, 6 years ago, 16 years ago, it doesn't matter, you're postpartum, so this is for you, okay? So all your moms out there, thank you for joining me today. And this is just going to be a really short introduction into breathing to make you aware of your breathing patterns and help you out with a few exercises to just improve breathing and overall well-being with that. So let's just get started. First of all, I would like to shortly talk about what breathing really does, because actually we don't really think about these things too much because it's something that kind of luckily works automatically. So you don't have to really think about breathing in order to survive, but if you want to actually use that system to get stronger, then you do have to kind of understand what it does. So this is just going to be like a quick introduction, and bit by bit we're going to learn a little bit more about the breathing. But this session is not, should not be going too long. It shouldn't be like a 2-3 hour session, and that's why we're just going to start with little bits, okay? So breathing, you have obviously the inhale and the exhale, right? So on your inhale, in general, on your inhale, everything relaxes, expands, 360, right, all around, and relaxes downwards, okay, all the way up into your pelvic floor, right, all the way down into your pelvic floor. On your exhale, everything contracts, and not just contracts, but also lifts up. So if you, well, everyone is kind of familiar with Kegel exercises, and those Kegel exercises, oftentimes when women work them, they kind of work the muscles down the pelvic floor, kind of the ones at the entrance, right? Like when you kind of try to squeeze and stop the flow of your pee, right? Which is not wrong, but you're kind of only working those muscles if you focus on that. However, what you really want to do, and you want to use your breathing system to achieve that, right, is on your exhale you squeeze those muscles, which is cool, and then you kind of lift it up towards your heart. And so we're going to work, don't worry, we're going to work on all of these parts, and we're going to take the breathing apart into little parts and just work on each part individually, and then you can put it together at the end. And you can also see, because everyone is kind of stuck at a different place. You have your chest, your abdomen, your pelvic floor, right? Your low back, your upper back. So everyone is kind of stuck somewhere else, and you have to be a little bit of a detective to kind of find out where your breath is getting stuck. And I will provide you with exercises for each part, so you can kind of work on whatever it is you have to work on, right? So now that we have covered the general breathing, kind of how it works, let's just start with the inhale and focus a little bit more on that, because today I'm going to give you an exercise for rib expansion up here, okay? So you have your diaphragm that sits right here. The diaphragm is actually a huge muscle that lines the inside of your rib cage, okay? So it's pretty big. And it's stone-shaped, which means it kind of sits in here. I don't know if you can see, but kind of like that, right? It sits in here like that. So you imagine this. If you inhale, when you inhale, technically what happens is your inhale pushes. It expands your rib cage 360, right? And then it pushes down, and flattens the diaphragm. So if you imagine it's like here, dome shape, and then the inhale pushes down and flattens that muscle, right? So what does this do? It creates pressure downwards, which causes your abdomen, your low back to expand, your pelvic floor, everything to expand and to relax, okay? And then in your exhale, the flattened diaphragm kind of springs back up into its original dome shape, okay? While contracting everything together and up towards your heart. So this is what happens when you breathe. Now, a lot of us, if you don't have, what kind of, when you exhale, you're kind of working with each exhale, you're working your entire inner core system, right? So, if you don't have a deep and inhale that expands everything, you cannot have a strong exhale that contracts everything and works those inner core muscles, right? So that is why we're going to first work on the inhale. So, today we're going to focus on the chest area, okay? I want you to take your hands, and best is if you have a mirror, you want to look into a mirror while you do this, and put your hands right here around your rib cage, right? Thumbs in the back, so you can feel your upper back and your rib cage right here beyond your breasts, okay? So put it right here, and then you want to, if I tell you take a deep inhale, you want to watch yourself. What happens if you inhale deeply? Does something like this happen? So your shoulders come up. If that happens to you, you just felt your whole entire rib cage coming up, right? Like if you do this, your whole entire rib cage comes up, but it does not expand. Now, what you want to do is keep your shoulders down, okay, down and relaxed, and try to expand your hands with your fingers. Do something like this, okay? You can feel your ribs expanding and getting your fingers to do this. So, inhale, deep inhale through your nose, no shoulders, okay? Shoulders stay relaxed and down. And feel what you feel, just feel it. Take a couple of breaths. Did you feel your rib cage expand? If you did not, if maybe you feel that one side expands more than the other, maybe you feel like your ribs are completely stuck. Everyone is different. Maybe you feel you're having troubles keeping your shoulders down. So I want you to every single day this week practice, okay? Practice every day and focus on this. Focus on two things. First of all, your ribs expanding. 360 all around was like an umbrella, right? Like when you open an umbrella, okay? This is how you can imagine your ribs, or a sand bucket, your kid's sand bucket, and the bucket handle is your ribs, right? When you inhale, the handle comes up, okay? So, and also, I want you to take your fingers now and put them right here in your sternum, right there. You can feel where your rib cage, both the halves of your rib cage comes together. It's like this little soft spot, right? And you put your finger right here, and you want to focus pushing the finger out while you inhale. So if you feel, it's like a very small movement. It's not like a boom, push out right now. It's very, very subtle. But if you feel that when you inhale, there is more space being created between your ribs, right? And your fingers kind of sink in. You have to be very careful with that. We call that paradoxical breathing, which means instead of expanding, you are sucking the air in and contracting on your inhale instead of your exhale. So, you want to focus on your fingers. Put your fingers right here, right stuff right here on that spot. You can also lay down on your back if that's easier for you. And focus on your fingers being pushed out, okay? Now I'm going to give you a breathing exercise, and especially if you feel that you cannot, that your ribs just are kind of stuck and don't want to expand, you can do this exercise like every single day. You can do this, something that you can do when you wake up in your bed, okay, before you get up or before you go to sleep, or better get both, or maybe even like get a 5-minute session in during your day, okay? rolled up towel and put that under your neck if that's more comfortable for you, right? Right here, and you want to lay down, kind of have this in a 90-degree angle, and just lay down and relax. You can also put pillows between your knees, whatever it takes to make you feel relaxed and comfortable. Now take your hands and put it right here on your rib cage, okay? And now I want you to focus on just this one side, okay? So laying down like this. Makes it easier, a little bit easier too, because you're only focusing, first of all, you're relaxed, you're focusing on only one side. And I want you to take 6 deep breaths, okay, with every session, and then you can do 2 or 3 sets of 6 breaths if you want to, if you feel like it. And of course on each side, okay, so we're going to just breathe and try to expand this side. And then when you're done with this side, you want to turn around and do the other side, same thing, okay? And if you feel that on one side you're kind of stuck and on the other side you can breathe and it expands nicely, then you can just practice on that one side that's kind of stuck, okay? So, I'm going to take 6 breaths, okay? So like you said, you can do this exercise, 6 breaths on each side. And then if you're stuck on one side, for example, one and the other, you can do 2 sets on the stuck side, 1 set on the non-stuck side. Like, you can kind of play with that. So I want you to do this breathing every single day, okay? Until you can actually expand your ribs evenly all the way 360 your upper back, and you will feel like when you can send your breath into your upper back, have it expand. It's like a massage from the inside out with each breath, right? And if you suffer from upper back pain, changing your breathing pattern so your inhale expands your upper back in the back is going to be gold and is going to help you get rid of those nagging back pains. So now we have gone through the breathing exercise for today or for this week. Like I said, I want you to practice this every single day. The breathing is something you need to practice every single day, and then one day you just realize you don't have to focus on it and it just kind of happens on its own, right? So now I want to introduce the first exercise to bring awareness to your inner core muscles and activate them. The inner ones that are like way below the 6-pack muscles, okay? Your pelvic floor and your transverse abdominis is what we are going to work on today. Again, you can use pillows if that's more comfortable for you. So, the first thing, I want you to lay on your back, okay? And in a hook laying position, okay? And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find our neutral pelvis, which is extremely important as well for your posture, okay, that you have your daily posture. So let's just get started. So in order to find your neutral pelvis, we want the pelvis to be not tilted, so you have like you're overarching your low back, right? And we do not want it to be crunched with your butt tucked under either. So we're going to practice this in a laying down position because it's easier, and then later on we're going to transfer this into other positions like standing up, walking, and whatnot, etc. Right? So take your hands, and I want you to take the palm of your hands and find this bone right here, this hip bone that sticks out, okay? Right here in the front of your hips. You can kind of feel it when you follow your pelvis. And I want you to put the palms of your hand right here, okay? on these bones, and then I want you to put your fingertips on your pubic bone, which means like your hands are going to form like a triangle like this. Okay, so now you can lift up your head a little bit and look at where your hands are, right? So now your hands want to be flat. If they are flat like this, okay, you are in a neutral pelvis. So if you see that your fingertips are higher than the palm of your hands and they kind of come up like this, okay, then you are in a posterior pelvic tilt. If you see that your fingertips sink down and the palms of your hand come up and it's kind of like this, you are in an anterior pelvic tilt, which means overarching your back. So you want to find your neutral pelvis, which means that your hands want to be as flat as possible, okay? And during the exercise, keep this neutral pelvis, okay? So let me just show you, move out in and out of the posterior anterior pelvic tilt so you can see what it looks like. So an anterior pelvic tilt is this, okay? So when I'm arching my back and my hands go down. Posterior is when I'm pressing my lower back into the floor and tucking my butt under, okay? This is posterior. So we want to be in neutral for this exercise. Okay, so feet flat on the floor. Your hands right here in position so you can kind of feel that they don't move. And just play around with your tilts, and you know, after a while, when you kind of become aware of this and think about it for a while, then you automatically kind of get into your muscle memory is going to automatically keep you in neutral position. So now, I want you to take your fingertips and put them right here. You see where this hip bone is that we just found? If you kind of move inwards a little bit, it's like this indentation that you can feel, very soft spot right here, kind of towards your pubic bone, okay? So you can put your finger right there, your fingertips, and then I want you to take a deep, deep inhale like we practiced, okay? And this inhale, you want to expand your rib cage and almost feel like your upper back is flowing into the ground, into the floor, and you know your ribs expanding, your shoulders down, and your fingers getting kind of pushed out, like imagine this, okay? So you want to take this deep, deep breath that goes all the way down into your pelvic floor. Imagine it in your head, just imagine it. Now, on your exhale, I want you to do a little baby Kegel. For those who don't know what that is, it's when you kind of imagine that you stop the flow of urine when you're peeing, and you kind of squeezing those muscles at the entrance of your pelvic floor. And you want to squeeze those together and then imagine to bring it all up with your exhale, okay? Just imagine it. And then what you should be feeling is your fingertips, like right underneath your fingertips, everything tensing up a little bit. So, and it's not a crunch, like you staying in neutral. This is not going to move at all, okay? This has to stay absolutely neutral. And then you want to feel just a little tension building up underneath your fingertips, nothing else. It's not a big tensing up of muscles, it's very, very subtle, okay? So, sixth breath again, in through your nose, all the way down, out through your mouth, and squeeze, 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 and up, up, up. Imagine it all coming up to your heart, and you should feel this tension building up. Everything stays still right here. You inhale. It's going to expand everything. You're staying neutral. You're going to feel all of this. So, This is an exercise I want you to practice every day too, okay? At home for this week. Again, 6 breaths per set, and you can do up to 3 sets. And yes, this together with your breathing exercise is your homework for this week. The next exercise is going to be, or it's more of an awareness exercise for your feet, okay? We call it tripod feet. I'm going to stand up, you're not going to see my face, but you don't need to, because I think this way you will probably be able to see my feet better, which is important for this one. Anyway, so I'm going to stand up, so I want you to focus on your feet, okay? You want to stand up, your feet hip width apart, so about, you know, the same width than your hips. Now we want you to imagine that your feet have suction cups right here underneath the big toe, the little toe, and your heels, right? And those are getting sucked into the ground. You can imagine also that your feet have roots and they're just growing into the ground, flowing into the ground, okay? You want to bend your knees a little bit, so don't have them like this, not like this either, but just relax them, okay? So you don't want to, yeah, right, so you can you can see what I mean. Anyways, so now your suction cups, and now you want to imagine, and not actually do it because I don't want you to hold tension in your feet, right? But imagine that this distance right here, you're kind of pulling your feet together, your toes and your heels a little bit, and this is going to make your arch kind of come up and strong. You want to always have like a little bit of space here, okay? Just these are things that you want to just start imagining and being aware of. So you don't want to force anything, you just want to imagine and be aware that you want to keep that you don't want your feet to collapse inwards like this, right? And you don't want to be outwards to the point where you see what happens when my feet rotate outwards, which is going to give you very tight hips, okay? So you want to keep them relaxed. You want to keep that tripod. Every time I say tripod feet, okay, I want you to think about this, what we were talking about here with your feet. So for now, we're not going to do any exercise. We're just going to become aware of what your feet are doing. How do your feet feel during the day, okay? So do they feel grounded, or do you feel kind of out of balance? Because your core is not just up here, your stomach area. Your core starts or goes all the way down to your feet, however you want to see it, all the way up to your head, okay? Your shoulders. So everything is connected with tissues and everything in your body. So this is why we kind of want to get aware of all these parts, and your feet are very important, okay? So tripod feet, think about it, your suction cups on your feet, okay? You don't want to have your feet collapse ever. Just imagine and think about your arch. The arch of your feet being strong and always there, never collapsing when you walk or when you move, okay? So this is very important. For our next session, we're going to start incorporating our core, our breathing into dynamic movement, okay? Alrighty, let's get to warming up a little bit. Let me just get on some music. Okay, start warming up your neck. Look from one side to the next. And down, neck this way. And remember, you want to keep your tripod feet, right, nice and grounded, like we talked about. Nice and strong feet. Now let's get your shoulders up to your ears and the legs down. Strong feet, tripod feet, suction cups. Now still keeping your tripod feet, shoulder rolls backwards. Start with small rolls and get bigger. Small shoulder rolls forward. And make them bigger. Keep the tripod feet. Our feet a little bit apart, still tripod feet, your arms like this, crossed, and warming up your torso. Okay, now put your hands on your hips and remember the hula hoops. We're going to do hula hoops. And change sides. Alright, bend your knees. Get your feet together, okay? And down and up. Keep your back nice and straight right here. Now we are going to roll those knees, okay? Other side. Alright. Now we are going to do some hip rolls, okay? From the inside to the outside, okay? Okay, now from the outside to the inside, right? And keep that foot that's on the ground nice and strong. Remember, track your foot. Now the other leg from the inside out. Hip rolls. Open up your hips, okay? Now from the outside in. And remember your tripod foot. You can go much slower than that and do that simple so it helps you. Okay? Alright, now we're going to warm up the calves. Heel into the floor, okay? Hands above your knees, back straight, and sit back, toes towards you until you feel a stretch right here in your calves. Change leg. Heel in the ground, toes towards you, hands above knees, sit back, back straight. Now you can hold on to something or not. Grab your ankle and pull your heel into your butt as far as you can. Okay? You should feel stretch right here in your quads. Other side. Right now, I'm going to teach you the first basic and most important move, okay, of capoeira, which is the ginga. Ginga means to swing, so we're going to just go without music through the basics and essential so you can learn the step, and then we're going to put some music and some variations, like you will see how you can play with the ginga to make it like an exercise session, okay? Alright, so you want to imagine a triangle, okay? So the way you're standing right here with your feet a little bit apart, okay? This is the base of your triangle. And the apex of your triangle is behind you. So, let me just step forward a little bit. So, you want to be in your base. Remember your tripod feet. This is very, very, very important, okay? Because what you do not want to happen is your feet collapsing in, okay, at any point. So you want to keep your feet nice and strong. Now, this is the base of your triangle, like I said. Now you want to, first of all, no hands. put your hands on your hips. We're going to add them later. So you want to step back On that triangle, finding the apex behind you, which is, as you can see, kind of a lunge position, right? So you can kind of, okay? So this is where you end up. Then you step back into base, and you step back with your other leg into the apex of that triangle. And again, you're in lunge position, but just change your legs, right? We step back into base, back into the lunge position, base and back, base and back, base and back. So all I want you to do is just practice this step for now, okay? And make sure that your hips stay squared, okay? What I mean by that is, if I put my hands right here, you might see it gives you a little bit of a better visual, right? So when you step back, you don't want this to turn either way, okay? You want this to stay square. Also, you want to be careful that you're not gonna have something like this happen, okay? Like this. So best is a mirror or film yourself, so you can see. Or you can put your hands like this if it helps you, okay? And then you want to step and step back, and then base and step back, and then the base and step back. So you practice this a little bit now. Let's add the hands. If you you don't have to add the hands, okay? Just I just want you to know how this really works because it's a martial art, right? So later on, we are going to add the hands for sure, but for now, just kind of try and stay with me here, okay? Now, the leg that moves back, okay? The hand comes forward, protecting your face. It's kind of like, I don't know if you can see it better this way. It's like a protection of your face, okay? And you step back in base, and then you change your hand, okay? The hand on the side where the leg goes back comes forward, protecting your face. And then you go back in base and you change your hands. Back in base and change your hands. This is a little bit complicated in the beginning, but you practice it enough and it will come just natural, okay? So, and then you can start doing ginga, okay? Now, that you practice the move, I'm going to put on some music, we're going to do some ginga, and we're going to do the ginga with a few variations that will prepare you for our first kick that we're going to learn today, okay? So, let me just go and put on some music, we do the ginga, and don't worry, if you can't follow the variations or you don't get it the first time, don't worry at all about it. This is the beauty about the CapoFitness or the Capoeira. Whenever you get tired or something is kind of off or you need to reset, you just come back to doing ginga, okay? This is why it gets you so strong so fast, because you're constantly moving even if you're resting, okay? So you're gonna learn that the ginga is a nice way to rest as well, okay? So this is what it looks like, okay? And let's get going with some music, okay? All right, let's go, ginga, okay? Remember, back, base, back, base, back, base. A little bit faster, okay? Let's just step a little bit faster. Now let's add the hand, okay? Remember, if this is too much, you can just put your hand back on your hips, okay? But I want you to try and add your hands now. And we're just going to do ginga for a while. stop in your next space, okay? And we're just gonna pulse a little bit. I don't want you to go down in a full squat. Just keep your feet nice and grounded, okay? Remember those tripod feet and kind of do these little pulses, okay? Just a little bit, okay? And I want you to now just focus on keeping your feet nice and grounded. Your arch is strong, okay? So the movement does not have to be big, just a little bit. Okay? Okay, so a couple more. Did you feel your feet staying nice and strong? Did you feel your breathing? Okay, back to Shinga. So few Shinga. And now we are going to stay in the lunge position and do the same, okay? That front foot needs to be nice and grounded and be pulse a little bit. Don't be going down in a lower lunge, just pulse a little bit. Making sure that this front foot stays nice and grounded. That your hips stay front square, okay? No funny business. If it starts doing this, you're going too far, you need to do kind of less smaller movements, okay? Okay? Okay, now we're going to go into Shinga again. And we're going to stop right here. Okay, you can keep your hands here and go up and down a little bit, just pulse a little bit. And all I want you to do for now is feel that front foot nice and, sucked into the ground. We're not even going to count the reps, we're just going to feel, okay, our body, just feel how it stays nice and square, nice and grounded, how your breath expands your ribs up here, okay? Now Shinga position. And now we're going back to Shinga. Okay. Now we are going to do, this is your challenge, okay? Now we're going to stop in the next space, down a little bit, change, down, base, down. Okay, so you get the gist. We're going to go a little bit like this. And we're going to stay nice with the music, okay? Keep your feet nice and grounded. Feet, okay? Go straight down, keep your hips straight. You feel the burn yet? And nice. Okay, now I have introduced you to the Shinga. I'm going to introduce you to your first official kick, which is very exciting. So the first kick we are going to practice is called Melody French. I will quickly show you what it's going to look like, okay, when it's done. And we are going to practice using the Shinga and some adapted Shinga moves, okay, to eventually get to the kick. So this is what Melody French looks like, okay. I'm going to do this once on both sides. So it's like a kick in the front. Okay. So this is what it looks like. Let me put on some music and let's practice. Now, very important, your feet, okay? Remember your feet, especially the foot that stays grounded while you kind of lift up. So let's start with the Shinga. So we're going to Shinga. And now I want you, every time you step and base, okay? I want you to ground that foot that you stepped and base and lift this other one up slightly, like not cautious. So you kind of stand on that one foot. You shift your weight onto that foot and get back into Ginga. Okay, base, shift your weight, okay? And back. Now while you shift your weight, remember your feet, your foot. Okay, suction, suction, shift. Okay, shift. Shift. Right, two more, shift. Now, let's add the hula hoop, alright? Base, shift, and kind of hula hoop, okay? Now, do it again. Okay. Stop, shift, and kind of move your hips like this, okay? Like a hula hoop. I don't know if you can see it. And stop, shift, and hula hoop, okay? Stop, shift, and hula hoop. And you kind of dragging your leg with you, okay? Stop, shift, hula hoop. One more each side. Stop, shift, hula hoop. And stop, shift, hula hoop. Alright, now. Let's change this a little bit, okay? When you go stop, shift, and draw a circle with your big toe. You can keep it on the floor or kind of lift it up in the air a little bit. Let me get back. So you can see, alright? Stop, shift, and draw that circle on the floor. Stop, shift, and draw the circle on the floor. It's easier when you keep your leg a little bit flexed, your knee, okay? Stop, shift, and draw that circle. Draw the circle, okay? Two more. Stop, shift, draw that circle. Stop, shift, and draw that circle. Alright, now. We're going to do the whole thing. You ready? Okay, and next space, stop, shift. Lift up and draw that circle in front of you. Okay, in the air, right? Alright. Stop, feet plant, shift, and draw the circle. And keep your knee a little bit flexed, okay? Alright. Drop, shift, circle, and resist. Let that get bigger. Stop, shift, and circle. Stop, shift, and circle. Melody French. Stop, shift, and circle. Stop, shift, and circle. If you can't do this yet, stop, shift, and draw that circle on the floor with your big toe, okay? That is totally acceptable. If you can't lift your leg doing it, lift it just a little bit until you can go higher and higher. Okay? Now we're just going to do melody French for the rest of the song, and you do what you can. Be this. Melody French or circle on the floor. Alright, well done you. Alright, now that we learned Ginga and Melody French, we're going to put the two together and have this flow. Now remember from the last exercise we did, okay? Whatever works for you, you need to just, I want you to just focus that your standing leg stays grounded. Remember the suction cup, the tripod feet, right? And you do whatever you can. If you can just shift your weight for now, that's it. Then that's fine. Okay, so you want to ginga, alright? Melody French, okay, and one side, or, and I'm showing the other side again, or you can Melody French like low as you need to, keeping your foot, this one, the ground one, nice and grounded, okay? Or, so these are the three possibilities, the fourth one, the kind of really low one, and then you have where you just, let me go back, you just draw the circle with your big toe in front of you, okay? So those are your three options, and you do what you can, alright? Let me put on some music, and let's just go, and you have 3.5 minutes to figure everything out and Melody French out, and whatever works for you. Right? Okay, start Melody French. And remember, when you get tired, you can just stay with the finger. This is just for you to practice. However, like with your own pace, okay? So you can go as long as you feel comfortable, okay? Just pay attention to your foot. Shift and draw that circle, okay? Just press shift and draw that circle, okay? Shift your weight and draw that circle every time you get into that base, okay? Just with one finger in between, you get into the base, and you get nice and grounded, so you can really, move your foot and stay, alright? Stay put. Base, shift, and circle. Base, shift. Alright. And circle. And circle. Remember, you stay wherever you are comfortable, okay? And Melody French. Melody French. You're almost done. Stick with it. Get those hips moving. Well done, you. You learned your first 2 kicks already. You learned your first kick, Melody French today, and the ginga, and you put the 2 of them together. So well done, congratulations, and I hope you had a lot of fun. Now let's wait, while your heart rate is still up and your breathing is still elevated, I just want you to do some stretches standing up. Let's go and stretch your arms up. Inhale up and look up and stretch your arms back. Okay, and exhale and arms down. Inhale, arms go up. Look up, stretch back. Exhale, arms come down. Inhale up and stretch back and come down. Alright, now I want you to find a wall, okay, and hold on to it. Now stretches, to be effective, you want them to be at least 30 seconds, okay? To me, that is roughly 2.5, 3 breaths, so I tend to hold my stretches for 3 breaths, so let's do that. So let's stretch the calves again, okay? The quads, I'm sorry. Since we've done a lot of leg work and then change your legs, you hold on to something, a chair, a wall, whatever you need to. Alright, now I want you to kind of try and move your hips back with a straight back leg as if you was going to close the door behind you. Put your hands above your knees, okay? And then let your hands go down your leg, okay? Until you find a comfortable position where you feel a stretch a little bit and stay there. And just breathe. Now, if you can, go into a deep squat, okay? That's awesome. If you cannot, I want you to work to gradually get to this position. I'm going to make a special video on this, why it is so beneficial and so important for us women to be able to do that. And then you can take your hands. You can also kind of have something like a yoga block or foam roller and, you know, kind of sit your butt on it. You know, just to help you out until you are able to sit down in a deep squat. But like I said, break on it and stretch out, push your knees out. Alright, now that your heart rate is down a little bit, I want you to lay down. I don't know which angle I'm going to put this. Yes, so I'm going to turn this so you can see better, okay? So I want you to lay down flat on your back and feet flat. Get one knee up and pull it into your chest. And remember your neutral pelvis, okay? Keep that while you pull that leg up into your chest. And hold it. Alright. Change legs. Pull your other leg into your chest. Okay, now I want you to get one leg up, okay? Well, put one foot down and take the other foot and lay it across your knee, okay? Then take your hands, get that knee up, reach through that hole, and pull this leg towards you, okay? Until you stretch right here in your butt. Alright, let go. Other one. First, get your foot across your knee. Lift that leg up. If that's enough, you can stay right there, okay? And when if not, you just reach through the hole and pull that knee, this one right here, towards you. And breathe and stretch. Okay. Now I want you to pull both knees into your chest, okay? And keep it there for a minute. And then just let your knees fall to one side and turn your head to the other side, okay? And knees back into your chest. And let them fall to the other side. And turn your head and shoulders to the opposite side. And just breathe. And come back. Go to your side. And come up. So that is it for today's session. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a lot of fun, and I will see you in the next session.